Welcome back to another episode / video of Sports Talk with Kendrick McKnight. I am Kendrick McKnight, and this is my weekly This Week in WWE. With the unfortunate circumstances going on in the world, with the coronavirus, just the entire sports world is just getting shut down. Not only with the sports world, but the entire world is pretty much get shut down, and all this quarantine, social distancing, and it's kind of rocky right now. So just like within the wrestling business, the show must go on with or without the fans. So for the past 2 weeks, WWE has been going to the WWE Performance Center to broadcast Monday Night Raw, NXT, and as well as SmackDown. And this week of SmackDown was okay. They started off with Edge cutting an amazing promo about his match with Randy Orton. So Randy Orton, for the past month, has been antagonizing Edge, saying that Edge is the reason why he did what he did. It was his debt to Edge for having him come into business, just ending his career and just going home and to be a dad, pretty much. And Edge was saying, like, Randy doesn't have grit. He doesn't have half the charisma that Edge has. And he eventually challenged Randy to a last man standing match at WrestleMania, which will be in the WWE Performance Center. So this year's WrestleMania is going to be very historic, something that we've never seen before. Too big for just one night. For the first time ever, not only is it going to be in the WWE Performance Center with no fans, it's also is going to be 2 nights. WrestleMania is going to be 2 nights. Saturday night, April 4th, and then the following Sunday, April 5th. Later down a card on the show, it played just the kill time. WWE showed the, Raw is a 3-hour show, so just to kill time, they played the WWE Royal Rumble's men's Royal Rumble match, just to kill time and show how Drew McIntyre won the match. But afterwards, it was the AJ Styles Undertaker contract signing for their upcoming match at WrestleMania. The American Bad A Taker came back, not the Phenom, but the Undertaker. He was just hell bent on getting his hands on AJ Styles, who has been running at the mouth at Taker, the GOAT, in my opinion, about not only him for his age and continue to wrestle, and taking digs at his wife about, she's only there for the money, and only with him for the money, and so on. AJ was just continue egging him on, and Undertaker then signs it, of course. Gallows and Anderson of the OC gave Taker the contract, only for them to get beat down and yada yada. The only match in the 3-hour show was for the 1,000th time Rey Mysterio going up against Andrade. It was an okay match, solid match. They always put on good matches, Rey and Andrade. Rey Mysterio actually wins this match, get a non-title victory over Andrade, furthering his chances to get a United States Championship shot at WrestleMania, possibly. After this, Becky Lynch cuts a promo on her opponent at WrestleMania, Shayna Baszler, pretty much saying that, she's a B, and she has no chance defeating the man at WrestleMania. At the end of the show, Monday night was 3/16, March 16th, 2020. 3/16 day. one of the greatest of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin, made his return with no fans. But the segment with him and with Byron Saxton was pretty comical, pretty funny. It was pretty solid. Then all of a sudden, of course, can't be a 316 day. It can't be it can't be a Stone Cold Steve Austin appearance without at least one stunner. And that's what he did on Byron Saxton. And that was pretty much Monday Night Raw. Obviously, the Edge promo, the Taker Styles, Andrade, Rey Mysterio, Becky Lynch promo, and 316 Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like I said, they played the Rumble for, that was at least an hour and a half itself. So that pretty much killed their time. But moving forward to NXT, there was no type of action for NXT. It was just going over the current feuds that's going on. For literally the first hour of NXT, it was going into an in-depth look into the rivalry that is Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, how they first started, NXT tryouts, how they eventually got signed, and they was always linked together, and that led up to their, DIY tag team, and just going on this, their rants, I guess, about who did what, who did this, and then winning the tag titles, losing the tag titles, trying to get the tag titles back on multiple times and unsuccessful every single time. And, then that led up to the eventual turn of Tommaso Ciampa against Johnny Gargano. And then they had their furious rivalries, one-on-one matches at several NXT takeovers. And then that led to Ciampa getting hurt. Johnny Gargano had the opportunity to go up against Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. And he lost it. Then Gargano was going on a little tirade, a series of losses against Adam Cole, against Finn Balor. Then that led to Ciampa coming back. And pretty much, even before then, Ciampa came back to pretty much bury the hatchet once Gargano reached the pinnacle of reaching the NXT title, becoming the first Grand Slam NXT champion. Winning the NXT title, tag titles, and as well as the North American Championship. Ciampa comes back as a baby. People adored him. And Ciampa wanted, Ciampa wanted a DIY return. Then that led to their match with Mustache Mountain, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven, which they won at NXT TakeOver, I believe Portland. No, that wasn't Portland. I can't remember the TakeOver, but they had a match at TakeOver and they won. And it was Wars Collide. NXT TakeOver Wars Collide. It was DIY and Mustache Mountain, and DIY won. And just when you think that in NXT TakeOver Portland, that was when Gargano turned on Ciampa. And that led to what's going on right now and their eventual match, possibly at NXT TakeOver Tampa, if that's still going to take place. Later on, it was a Finn Balor segment. He was pretty much talking about who he was, why like an in-depth reason why he returned to NXT. NXT, that was when he was in his prime, in 2014 when he debuted. Then had match of the year candidates with guys like Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens. Then that led to his eventual call up in the 2016 WWE draft when he was one of the first picks, and that was going to skyrocket him to the top. Not only on the following Raw after the draft, he defeated Rusev, Kevin Owens, and Cesaro in a fatal 4-way, then led up to face Roman Reigns, and he defeated Roman Reigns. He defeated 5 guys in one night to get the opportunity to face Seth Rollins at SummerSlam for the new Universal Championship, which Finn Balor won at SummerSlam 2016 or 17, but unfortunately he had to relinquish because he got injured within the match, and due to that led to Finn just floundering and just going downhill from there. He returned and just did not that much, just that guy, just to put in there for a good match, but knowing that he's not going to win. He did get the Intercontinental Championship for a while, then lost it. But he felt like he wasn't himself when he was on the main card, and he needed to get that Finn back. He needed to get the Prince back, and decided to go back to NXT and relive and get that and feel that, get that fire back, and that's what he's doing. He defeated guys like Johnny Gargano, Matt Riddle, Igor Dragunov from NXT UK and NXT Worlds Collide. So Finn Balor is at his absolute best right now. And then he furthermore talked about, defeating Water at maybe possibly NXT TakeOver Portland, at NXT TakeOver Tampa, if that's going to happen. Towards the end of the show, Rhea Ripley had an in-depth conversation about, where she's come from and why she deserves this WrestleMania spot against Charlotte Flair. And she was basically saying, she comes from, where she comes from, as far as, her style, her background, and she started off, within the Mae Young Classic, and she lost, obviously, but she had so many comparisons towards, people was comparing her to Charlotte Flair, comparing her to Lana even, because she had like long blonde hair. So she felt like to stand out, to be her own woman, she cut her hair and just rather than try to please everybody, she just did her own thing, and that led to her winning the inaugural NXT UK Women's title against Toni Storm, and she held it for a while, then lost it to Toni, then moved forward to NXT and faced off against Shayna Baszler, and that's when her rise started to come. She pinned Shayna in NXT War Games match, the first ever all-female War Games match. She was the leader of the NXT women's side of the triple threat match for Survivor Series, and she just at a high right now, and that as the NXT Women's Title champion, in which she defeated Shayna Baszler for. She's just at her very best right now, and has her eyes set at WrestleMania to defeat the Queen. And that was pretty much NXT. It was just an in-depth look into all 4 of these superstars. Moving forward to SmackDown, Rob Gronkowski made his WWE debut alongside Mojo Rawley, and Elias, and Baron Corbin, King Corbin comes out, and King Corbin as the heel, he comes in and saying like, he doesn't deserve this chance, he doesn't deserve to be in WWE, and that leads to the announcement that Elias and Corbin will face off at WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak had a match against Cesaro and Nakamura, which was a solid match. DB pinned, Daniel Bryan pinned Cesaro with the springboard that led to a pin. And backstage after the commercial, Sami Zayn comes out and says that, how about, you face Shinsuke Nakamura, DB. Drew Gulak faces Shinsuke Nakamura next week on Friday Night SmackDown. And if Drew Gulak happens to win, Daniel Bryan has a match against Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. Next after this, Paige makes not necessarily her return, but Viva Sabalate, Bayley, and Sasha was, taking jabs at her and, stuff like that. So Paige comes out and says that Bayley has a match at WrestleMania. She has a six-pack challenge. It's going to be a six-pack challenge where Bayley defends her title against not only Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, Naomi, Tamina, and as well as Sasha Banks, her best friend. After this, WWE showed WrestleMania 30 from WrestleMania 30's match between Bray Wyatt and John Cena. Bray Wyatt says on countless times that match was the match that created The Fiend. Bray Wyatt was obsessed. He was upset. He was pissed off pretty much that, he lost, and that created The Fiend. He needed that win. He needed that validation to knock off one of the greatest of all time, John Cena. And he was unfortunate in doing so. And that's what pretty much led to The Fiend. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. After this, Miz and Morrison had their dirt sheet where they hilariously impersonated the New Day, Usos, and Heavy Machinery of Otis and Tucker. That led to Heavy Machinery coming out and having a match with Miz and Morrison. Towards the end of the match, Dolph Ziggler made an appearance and pretty much made a mockery of Otis because of the fact that he's with, storyline-wise, he's with Mandy Rose. And Otis just went on a tirade, hitting Miz and Morrison, chasing after Dolph Ziggler, unsuccessful at that, hitting Miz and Morrison with steel chairs, just going crazy. And that was that segment, furthering the possibility of, Ziggler and Otis at WrestleMania. In the main event spot, it was a contract signing, another contract signing for the WWE Universal Championship as the champion Goldberg faces off against the big dog, Roman Reigns. This was a very intense standoff. Roman as the young guy, Goldberg as the veteran, spear versus spear is what they're promoting this as. Roman was pretty much saying, like, this is my time, this is my chance, it's time for me to get the title that I never lost, because Roman, unfortunately, was dealing with leukemia, and he was forced to relinquish the title. So he never necessarily lost the title. So it's time for him to be the big dog that he always was, and get that title, and he got to knock off Goldberg. And Goldberg is just that guy, like, oh, who's next? Who's next? I don't care who's in front of me. Let's go. And just, they signed a contract, and it was very heavy, very intense. Just two behemoths just looking at each other, just ready to brawl. So this week in WWE was weird, like I said. You know, the unfortunate situations going on in the world. Looks like it's going to be no fans until after Mania. I don't know what's going to happen. But just like in WWE or any other wrestling company, the show must go on with or without the fans. So WrestleMania is going to be very interesting. No fans, 2 nights. And it'll be interesting to see how WWE pulls this off. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you guys can know when I post my videos. Until next week's video of This Week in WWE, this has been Sports Talk with Kendra McKnight. And yes, sir.